All right. Well, first of all, greetings from your IEEE SIGHT staff team. My name is Holly Schneider-Brown, and I work in Piscataway. And I have Yoon Jong-jang, who unfortunately is not here, but there's a picture of her. And I actually just got an email from her, and she wanted to say hi to everyone, because I know she's actually corresponded with a number of you here in the room. So hi, Yoon. So first of all, thank you very much for being here. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about the operations of SIGHT. And I want to sort of stress here that this is definitely, the operational side is definitely a work in progress. So what you're seeing here are the initial stages. We are going to continue to iterate and improve on these processes as we go forward into 2014. So stay tuned. We definitely want to keep everyone informed. So you did receive a survey that was passed back to you. If you could please fill out the survey, give us some feedback, and also include your email address, we will definitely keep you on our mailing list. We're going to have a newsletter come out the end of the year, giving you sort of insight about the coming year. So yeah, but the key thing is, you know, we as you can see, you know, Kartik and so many of the people involved in SIGHT just have so much passion for this. And what we're trying to do with SIGHT is really leverage the passion here at IEEE and the strengths that you as IEEE members bring to humanitarian technologies, and really allow you to achieve so much, you know, and we can achieve so much more together. And that's why SIGHT is here. So I wanted to start out with a little snapshot of how SIGHT is growing. And as you can see, we're really starting to get in a number of places around the world. Out of curiosity, I'd like to see where the geographic location of the audience is today. If you're from region 1 through 6, so the US, raise your hand. Okay, so we've got a few folks. All right, region 7. Okay, a few. Region 8. 1, 2.
The rest of us, where these regions are.
Okay, yes, okay, so region 8 is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Okay, so we've got, okay, so a few more, all right. And region 9 is South America. Okay, great. And finally, region 10. Okay, we have a number from region 10. Thank you all for being here. So as you can see, we actually, what we're missing here is region 8. So we definitely are looking, and I know Li Kong is thinking about starting a group in potentially in Zambia. But we're giving, you know, so part of this workshop is to give you more information on how to do this. But just a little bit, you can see here where we're located in regions 1 through 7, where some of the sites are. Region 9, region 10, 8 and 10, and here's a close-up of India. You can see we've got a lot of sites there. So we're at 32 official sites right now. Brazil there isn't. Oop. Will be, okay. All right, excellent. Oop. Okay, so yeah, we are at 32 official sites now. We have 5 in the pipeline, so we're going to be at 37 by the end of the week, I think. Deepak will be speaking a little bit more about Region 10 especially. But that just gives you an initial look at where we are at the moment. All right, so first of all, actually, Kartik talked a little bit about the SIGHT projects. And we wanted to let you know that we do have funding for projects. And so SIGHT is a mechanism for you to actually get money for some of the projects that you do. What we have is a two-step process. For some, we have 2 kinds of grants. One are small grants, and those are the ones that really map into inspire, enable, and connect. So those are smaller projects. They could even be one-time projects. They could be something that will develop into something larger later on. But those are generally to about $5,000. Then we have larger grants. That would be upwards of, you know, upwards of $5,000. And that we have a 2-step application process. And that is where we're really talking about this IDE framework, which Kartik was describing before. And so we want those proposals to really seriously consider everything that IDE is all about and how exactly the project maps into that. So the first step is a concept proposal. So for the small grants, it's a small proposal form which we will be uploading to our website very soon. So you should see that soon. The larger grants have a two-step process with a concept proposal and then a full proposal. So the first step for the concept proposal, you're going to look at the need and solution. And then this, to the point about the potential customer point of view, I mean, that's where you really need to make sure you understand that very well. That you're not just coming in from the outside. And that's really what, site groups are about too. We really want to be engaging, having sort of a long-term kind of relationship with the community that you're targeting. Then you're also going to talk about the type of proposal, so how that fits into IDE, how it relates to known and ongoing projects, because once again, we want to try to eliminate, the reinvention of the wheel. So you want to make sure that you're taking a good look at what else is going on out there, which leads us to partnerships, because if there are things going on in an area where you want to get involved, perhaps there are established NGOs who are already working there, where might you possibly be able to plug in? A survey of similar known initiatives, also information about the team members, their proposed roles and experiences, and budget and schedule. And just wanted to emphasize here, this is approximate. You might not know exactly what it's going to be, and we understand that. So you got to take a first stab at it. All right, so what's going to happen then is we are going to have, so in 2014, we will have a series of deadlines, which we will publicize well in advance. And at this point, it's looking like they'll be quarterly. And it'll probably be about, let's say, about March 15th, probably March 15th, June 15th, September 15th, when you'll need to send your proposal in, fill out the form, send it to me. And the committee, the site steering committee, will review those proposals. And of course, the smaller grants will be decided and either accepted or rejected. The concept proposals then also will be accepted or rejected. And then if a concept proposal is approved, then you will need to do step 2, which that is not necessarily going to be tied to those set deadlines. But we assume that there probably are not. There are going to be a lot fewer of these bigger proposals. So we'll be able to be flexible with those who actually make it to that step 2. All right. So if you get to that step 2, what we're going to be asking is first of all an executive summary, about what you're trying to do. But what we really want you to delve into is the business model. Because of that, the importance of making this a sustainable kind of project based on those IDE principles. So you can see here some of the things that you'll need to talk about: the proposed product and technical personnel, marketing plan, things like that. And all this information we will have on these forms, which will be up online. And and if you have any questions about them, obviously you can contact us, and we'll be happy to work with you to answer them. We're also going to ask for a schedule here with milestones. And we're going to want to know what other kinds of funding sources besides SIGHT that have been identified, because we're not expecting these things to be completely funded by SIGHT. All right, so any additional information you might have, contact information, and just, some more stuff about, who else you're working with to give it a little more credibility. So that's where we're at. This was developed, Ray Larson actually was very instrumental in developing that, and as you know, he's behind the CSI, the very successful CSI program. So this is where we're at. Right, so you'll submit them to me. And here's a little insight into some projects that we have funded this year. Our first project that we funded was MedGuide in the Gujarat section. And this was one of those small grants. This is $2,000 with regulating and monitoring medical regimens of pregnant women. So that's, you know, an example of something that the committee has decided that is within the site parameters, and we're looking forward to seeing what they do with that. That's that grant. The second one is empowering the blind through assistive technologies. So as you can see, SIGHT is funding $5,000, but they have external funding of $50,000. So this was something that really built out of the work of the Kerala site. Yeah, also very exciting to see how where that goes. The most recent project we funded is actually a humanitarian technology workshop in Delhi that's going to be taking place next week on disaster relief technologies. So this was, you know, a very small amount, $1,000, just to show that it also can be, you know, we talk about the Inspire, Enable, Connect. That can also take the form of, you know, like a one-day workshop, bringing people together, the stakeholders. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a, you know, something like the assistive technologies, for example, the second or even the first. So what we really want to stress here is with SIGHT, we really value the local innovation and any ideas that you might have that, you know, we haven't thought up before, that no one's thought up. You know, we really want to try to encourage that creativity and see what happens. All right, so as I mentioned, we will be releasing a calendar of deadlines in early 2014. That way you can plan for the future, because I know everything this year has been sort of at the last minute, and, you know, we're just trying to get a lot of things going to keep up the momentum. But, you know, we will have more time to reflect and come up with a substantive program that's clearly communicated. And we're also looking to have another SIGHT Fellow program as well, like we did for GHTC. So the details will also be announced earlier in the year, so people can consider that, you know, have more time to think about it. All right. Now, how to form a site. So right now it is 6 passionate members of IEEE. At this point, it is located either in the section or in the student branch. Who need that, and now I know we are discussing, you know, I know some people have questions about technical societies. We're currently discussing that, how exactly that will work out, you know, and connecting everyone together. So stay tuned on that, but right now it is the section and student branch. The petition form, here you can find where you can go onto the website to get that. You fill it out. You're also going to need to talk about what your initial project ideas are. You know, once again, if you don't know exactly what you're going to do, that's fine. We want to get you on board. We want to get you connected, and start thinking about, you know, what you can do. So what's going to happen is you'll send it to me, and Yoon, probably, who you saw just a few minutes ago, Yoon will be processing it, and she'll get in touch with you, let you know what the result is. And at that point, the site groups that are accepted will get a $250 seed grant. Until the end of the year, they get a $250 seed grant to start work. Next year, what we'll be doing is a $200 seed grant and then an annual rebate of $200. But in order to get that, you need to submit 2 biannual reports about what you're actually doing. So let's see. Yep, there we go with the rebates. And so as a site group, what you'll be able to do is access the resources, which we're currently in the process of developing. Like I mentioned, we're going to be having a newsletter that'll keep you posted on what the deadlines and the opportunities that we have. But we'll also be featuring stories of what's going on in site with the different site groups, the successes, the areas where you could potentially plug in, you know, perhaps where people need help. So that will be one thing. We're also going to have, let me see here. a webinar, a mini webinar series. Now, Kartik mentioned the Engineering for Change webinar series, which I'm actually the program manager of that webinar series because IEEE is part of Engineering for Change. That is definitely a great place to go for general education about different kinds of technical projects, things that are going on with different NGOs. But SIGHT will have a mini webinar series that's really dedicated to SIGHT and how you can get involved through IEEE, because Engineering for Change doesn't really, it's about providing information, but not about actually bringing people together to carry out activities. So SIGHT will allow people to actually plug in through IEEE and accomplish things. So let me see here, just so you know. The first SIGHT webinar is actually going to be Tuesday, November 12th. And this is, we're going to be taking a step back. So before you even start a project, just looking at giving you some educational tools. And the theme of this is from good intentions to real impact. Because, as you know, a lot of people have good intentions about helping others, but then when push comes to shove, when you're actually doing it, making that real impact is often harder than it seems. So we're going to talk about that. I actually have a consultant who's been helping us with develop this. Her name is Sandra Schimmelfennig, and she runs the website goodintents.org. But anyway, registration is free, and you can connect virtually with your peers from around the globe. And this is how you can discover how to create more effective projects that have real impact and avoid common pitfalls. But what I really love about the webinar series, and this is part of the reason why I was really gung-ho about having a SIGHT webinar, is it is so amazing to be able to connect, to have people who are from all around the world who wouldn't be able to come to GHTC, for example, but via the internet we can all come together and talk about issues, and everyone has a chance to raise questions. So, so this is just the start of that, and we're looking forward to more webinars next year. Let me see here. And yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention is the impact and quantifying SIGHT activities and projects. So we are definitely still, we understand, the whole process of monitoring and evaluation and really assessing what is true impact can be difficult, and we're trying to figure out a way how to do that with SIGHT. So our first initial stab at it is we have two metrics. One is the number of IEEE members enabled. So members, volunteers that were engaged, inspired, connected, trained, or encouraged. We want to first of all just try to keep track of that. So when you are doing your projects, please keep a note of how many people are involved. IEEE members are involved. And then the other metric is the number of people benefited. So that's important because those are actual beneficiaries of a project or activity that you did. Because while SIGHT is very important for member engagement, providing a vehicle for that, what we're really trying to do, obviously, is have that impact on people who need it. So so we want to try to calculate that, and we're going to be looking at that some more next year. And actually, if you have any ideas too about how we might want to best try to quantify impact, we'd love to hear it. And we'll continue this. The SIGHT Steering Committee will be looking at this, and we'll communicate what we've learned and where we're heading in the year to come. So let's see. So here are resources. So this is the website, and yes, it's not a nice, easy URL. That's something that we want to try to work on next year, and also have a more dynamic website. So stay tuned on that. There's the petition to form SIGHT, here project application and guidelines, but that's also actually on the website. But any questions you have about these things, please let me know. And I think that is about it for me from the operations side. If I understand your question, so you want to know if other people who are other than engineers, other than IEEE members, if they can get involved in SIGHT. Okay, right. So I think at the core, the site group does need to be made up of 6 IEEE members, but definitely the site group can work with, I mean, and the whole goal too is working with people outside, with NGOs, et cetera, but multidisciplinarity, absolutely, I think is crucial, getting those other points of views that can really help also, have that impact, so yes.
Recently, I have formed a site group in Bangladesh, CRG site. Actually, I would like to know about one thing. In the biannual report, in the first report, what is expected, what sort of update you're expecting from us? Actually, that's right.
Okay, so we have a biannual report form which you receive, so Yoon will send that out. And yes, we understand the first the first report, and I think we sent it out, I think, to sites who hadn't even been in existence for 6 months. And we absolutely understand that you're not going to have all the information, but we just want to get a sense of what you have done. And we're just looking to make sure that, a site wasn't just created and then nothing was done at all. So, it's fine if you haven't actually executed a project. Just fill it out to the best of your knowledge, and give us a sense of what's going on. And any questions? You can include any questions or any, if you need any, you'd like to be connected with someone. That's really, where site strength can come in, where we're looking to build up this network that can cross-pollinate and help each other.
If somebody develops a product that gets commercialized with funding from SIGHT, working with other NGOs, who owns the IP, and has there been sufficient thought given, if it becomes a product, what happens? Where I'm going with this is you don't want to end up in court saying that, no, we developed it, volunteers say we developed it, we own it. So have you thought along those lines who owns it and how it will be commercialized if it is a product?
I have to catch a flight in 15 minutes, and I have to go so I'll try to be brief. But there is a lot of history behind this. When the HTC, the competition happened, it was one of the pieces that was missing. I presented at the board a couple of years back. Raja was there. And there is a proposal on the table. IEEE has to come back on that proposal. I'll follow up with Holly, Kartik, Peter, and a few other people to make sure that happens. And there are 3 models that can happen. One of them is, for example, what we did in Region 7, Canada. We ran a student competition with the purpose of testing out licensing, open source licensing. In our model in Region 7, we approached Laura Stachel, Hal Alonso from Wicker Solar. They let us use the design for the solar suitcase as a platform for which we would be adding IP from IEEE members. The IP would be owned by the designer to allow that person to use it later on for research, a company, but they would license it to the IEEE so that IEEE could use it, mix it, and make it into new products, evolve it as open source. So in that case, licensing would enable that person, even if they had patents, through licensing through the IEEE, for IEEE to make it available to other people. And that's the model that many people have done. That's the model that the IBM guys that have that embedded the environment, the Eclipse Foundation has. There are other models from software. That is one that has been adopted. Also, Laura Stachel, they have the rights on the IP to mix it up and with their product and make it like. So one of the products was a headlamp. And we'll be talking with the Madras guys and seeing how we can use now that model and the solar lamps to create IP from IEEE. Other models are where the person would be given their IP rights to IEEE. There is the solar suitcase that was developed by Butch Shadwell and Pali Singh. He's on the other side. Work that's been done at Villanova University. They're doing their own version of the solar suitcase, and in that device, there is a possibility for a patent. That is, one of them is currently owned by Professor Singh. There is another, Butch also has some design he wanted to patent. And there was a discussion between whether IEEE would own the patent and pay for that, or if he would do it. That discussion never ended and it completed. Third model would be that so that model would be IEEE owns all the IP, and then IEEE would manage that like we manage the standards, like we manage all this stuff. There is another model where there is a community created, and everybody owns the IP, co-owns the IP, like Linux, like Debian and all that. There is right now the Open Source Hardware Association that has been created, mainly out of Boston, out of New York. It was sponsored by the O'Reilly guys, and it's very strong. And their model is that hardware is designed, and they just license it out, but they can, the viral license, and then they don't care. They just want everybody to have access to it. You can still package it and sell it. So there are many models that have been considered, it's still being considered. It's now up to IEEE and the sponsor, a strong sponsor, a champion from IEEE that could help us with legal at IEEE to sort it out and make it happen. So IEEE has a model with the open publication access now. They understand that, they understand all that, but it has to be sorted out.